Howdy and welcome to the Mr. Maple Show. I'm Tim. If you love Japanese maple related content, make sure you're subscribed here on the Mr. Maple Show. We put out daily content here, and also check us out on your favorite podcast platform where we also put out a lot of awesome content for your audio listening. Y'all, I'm doing a cultivar highlight today on Acer palmatum ao kanzashi. This is a classic Japanese maple cultivar you don't find very commonly in the nursery trade. And when we get a chance, we'd like to bring you out to somewhere and see a specimen in the landscape. Right here, I'm standing in October at the J.C. Ralston Arboretum in Raleigh, North Carolina, to bring you this big specimen of ao kanzashi. This is a tree that typically gets in that 12 to 14 feet in height in 15 years, making it a good mid-sized tree for the landscape and garden. But what makes ao kanzashi special is its unique style of variegation. In the early spring, you get a vivid pink-red border on the variegation to this small green leaf. This really makes this selection stand out, and to really brighten up that border, make sure you give it a little bit of morning sun. Morning sun, afternoon shade is best recommended for ao kanzashi. But you want to give it some protection from the hot afternoon sun so that variegation really is at its peak. The leaves on this are very unusual. You get that vivid pink-red variegation in the early spring, but by mid to late spring, what you have is a cream on green. So you get this creamy green color on green for the big part of the late spring through the summer. And then when the fall hits, you get some really nice shades of oranges to red. And for a mid-sized tree, this is a very underrated selection. It's got a unique style of variegation that you don't find on many of the other Japanese maples. I do recommend with ao kanzashi that you give it a light fertilizer. Stay away from heavy amounts of nitrogen, as heavy amounts of nitrogen can promote reversion on ao kanzashi. And if you give it too much nitrogen, you'll get solid amounts of green that you will have to prune out. Growing in the landscape, this makes a beautiful specimen in the garden, as you can see behind me. And it just makes this beautiful tree. On MrMaple.com, this is a tree that often sells out fast. So if you see it on MrMaple.com, I recommend checking it out quickly. If it's currently sold out, we do have a notify me section where you can plug in your email address to be notified when this tree becomes available. Now, ao kanzashi makes an excellent tree in the landscape, but it also makes an excellent tree in a container. As with all Japanese maples in the ground or containers, make sure you give it plenty of good drainage. Drainage is critical for growing Japanese maples. Now, one question I often get asked with ao kanzashi is, how does this selection differ from Tenyu no Hoshi? Tenyu no Hoshi is a selection by J.D. Veritrees, who wrote the book on Japanese maples, and ao kanzashi is a cultivar that's much older than that. Well, the answer is in the form. You'll see here with ao kanzashi, you've got a nice broad form that's almost as wide as it is tall in that same time frame. Tenyu no Hoshi will often be much more narrower, denser, and compact with a very similar style of variegation. Now, if you like this type of content on Japanese maples, seeing full specimens here in the garden, make sure you're subscribed here on the Mr. Maple Show. We work hard to bring you full cultivar breakdowns. And here on the Mr. Maple Show, we've got more cultivar breakdowns than you can find in almost any book on Japanese maples. That means you can get video looking at actual trees in the garden, hearing us talk about all of our experiences with these trees. Y'all, make sure you're subscribed here on the Mr. Maple Show. We work hard to bring you this content. And also, remember to shop with us on MrMaple.com. We're that family mail order business that ships directly to your door, and we do the largest selection of Japanese maples in the country. We really appreciate y'all so much, and we couldn't do this type of content if it wasn't for y'all shopping with us. Take care, God bless, and have a great day.